is TV. This video was created from an article on our health website. After watching, please ensure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll drop the link to the article in the description box.
Okay,
See you soon.
let's just admit it. Most of us love red meat. A good steak, a hearty roast. It's delicious. And nutritionally, it's a beast, packed with protein, iron, all those B vitamins. But then you see the headlines, right? All this conflicting stuff about how bad it is for you. So what's the real story here? Let's get into it.
I mean, picture it. A perfectly cooked, juicy burger right off the grill. It's one of life's simple pleasures. But there's that little voice in the back of your head, isn't there? The one that asks, is this actually okay for me? That's the big question we're going to try and answer today.
All right, first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page. When we say red meat, we're talking about meat from mammals. So beef, pork, lamb. It's red because of a protein called myoglobin. White meat is just poultry, chicken, turkey, which has a lot less of that stuff. But here's the category you really need to pay attention to: processed meat. This is your bacon, your sausage, your ham, anything that's been salted, cured, or messed with. This is the group that, as you'll see, gets the biggest warning label.
So now that we've got our definitions down, let's get to the heart of it. What does the actual science say about the risks of eating this stuff?
Wow. Okay. This is a big one. This quote comes from the World Health Organization's own cancer research agency. They've put processed meat in Group 1, which means it's classified as carcinogenic to humans. Now, let's be super clear. That doesn't mean eating a hot dog is as bad as smoking a cigarette. But what it does mean is that the scientific evidence linking it to cancer is just as solid. And regular red meat, that's classified as probably carcinogenic. This isn't guesswork. This is top-level research.
So what kinds of cancer are we talking about here? Well, studies have found links to several types, like breast cancer, lung cancer, and even liver cancer. But the one connection that scientists are absolutely sure about, the one with the strongest evidence by far, is colorectal cancer. You're probably wondering, how can a piece of meat cause cancer? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is actually how we cook it. When you cook meat at really high temperatures, grilling, barbecuing, getting that perfect black char on the outside, it can create some pretty nasty chemicals. And these chemicals can actually damage your DNA.
But the story doesn't end with cancer. There's another huge part of our body that takes a hit, and that's our heart.
So here's what happens. It's called the TMAO pathway. When you eat red meat, the bacteria in your gut go to town digesting it. But in that process, they create this other chemical called TMAO. And studies are showing that higher levels of TMAO in your body are linked to damage to your heart and your blood vessels. It's a chain reaction happening right inside you.
And there's more. The insane amount of sodium they use in processed meats, that's a direct line to high blood pressure. Some research has even linked high meat intake to things like chronic lung disease. And maybe the most sobering fact of all, it's been tied to a higher overall risk of dying from any chronic illness.
All right, take a look at this number, 17%. It's pretty specific, right? So what in the world does it stand for?
It stands for a 17% jump in your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And that's from eating just 100 grams of red meat a day. That's basically a small burger patty. It just goes to show you how even small, everyday amounts can really add up over time.
So after hearing all of that, the big question is obvious, right? Where's the line? How much is actually too much?
Okay, here's the magic number you need to remember. This comes straight from the World Cancer Research Fund, 500 grams. But what does that really look like on your plate for a whole week?
Let's break it down. 500 grams a week is the recommended max. The easiest way to think about that is about 3 average-sized portions. So you could have a steak on Monday, maybe some tacos with ground beef on Wednesday, and some pork chops on Friday. And boom, you've hit your limit for the week.
Now, here's the really important part. While there's a guideline for red meat, the advice for processed meat, bacon, sausage, all that stuff, is way, way simpler. The evidence against it is so strong that the official recommendation is just eat as little of it as you possibly can. Or even better, just avoid it.
Okay, so we've laid out the risks and the limits. But listen, this isn't meant to scare you. It's about giving you the power to make smart choices. So let's talk solutions. What can we actually do about all this? One of the biggest changes you can make is right in your own kitchen. Remember those DNA-damaging chemicals from high-heat cooking? Well, you can slash them just by changing how you cook. Instead of always grilling, barbecuing, or frying, try gentler methods.
Think about slow cooking, boiling, or even something like sous vide. It makes a huge difference. And look, cutting back on red meat doesn't mean your meals have to be boring. It's an opportunity to explore. There's a whole world of amazing, healthy protein out there. Start swapping in more fish, chicken, turkey, eggs, even things like beans, nuts, and whole grains. It's all about adding variety to your plate.
So, what's the bottom line? It's pretty simple, really. Red meat isn't some evil thing you can never touch again. But the science is crystal clear. Moderation is everything. It's about being mindful, thinking about how much you eat, how often you eat it, and how you're cooking it. At the end of the day, it's your plate and your choice.
So, we've walked through the science, we've seen the risks, and we've talked about some smart solutions. The only question left is the one for you. Knowing all of this now, what's your next move?
Please subscribe.